Okay, well, hi, welcome everybody. My name is Gina Redzanek, and I am so excited because I am going to be interviewing Dr. Paul today, and he's going to be sharing some insight with us about Isagenix. So I started Isagenix in 2013 and really started for the products, had an amazing result. Since then, I've partnered with this company and have been able to build an incredible income from home. But what I really loved about Isagenix was the integrity behind the products. And that's what made me able to partner with this company and to really join forces and build an at-home income like I have. So without these amazing products that work and that have the science behind it, I would not have been interested. So I think it's so important to educate you guys and to have Dr. Paul on today. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Paul.
Oh, Gina, thank you so much for inviting me. This is so much fun. As you probably know, I love doing these because it's another opportunity to share what you and I both know to be the best way to live our lives.
Absolutely. So if you don't mind, just for some people that are brand new to the group and brand new to Isagenix, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and maybe how you got involved with Isagenix?
Sure, absolutely. So, I've been interested and I would say dedicated to a life of health and physical performance since I was a little boy because I was not a very good student in class. And so for me, it became more about what can I do with my physical body to give me some self-worth, self-identification. So I actually just started to, try out new things. What was it that I could do in my own life to enhance my health? But what really hit home for me was when loved ones, my grandparents who I adored, and my own father became ill and diseased. That really unraveled my core. And so I said, boy, I want to go into something as a career that I can make a direct impact on other people's lives. And so I started to just pursue this career. And it of course, was born out of my essence of wanting to help people live a healthier life. But now it's translated into my passion, my mission. It's what I want to do. And my message is really built around my science. And so my science is really the foundation of what I spread in terms of my word. And it incorporates both nutrition and fitness, but also mindset. So there's kind of a three-pronged approach that I take in all of my research, and that is to look at those lifestyle factors that we have control over. One is what we put into our body. Two is what we do with our body. And three is how we think with our mind and how we react to things. So when I take those three things and I put them all together, that's the kind of research and the lifestyle interventions that I do. So I've been an active nutrition and physiologist researcher for 30 years. I have a number of publications. I would encourage all those listeners and viewers right now to go and check me out and the research that I do and visit my websites and my Facebook pages. And then with Isagenix, what happened was I had just published the study, or one of my studies had just been published in a leading science journal. And one of the scientists at Isagenix reached out to me and they were inquiring, saying, boy, that was a really fascinating study. Would you ever be interested in doing anything with us? And I said, well, who are you? And they said, well, we're a nutrition company. And I said, oh, I'll look into it. And so I did my due diligence. And I have to say, this was back in 2014. So soon after you yourself started.
Yeah.
I was super impressed with the level of research that they had already done. And so that really convinced me that this is a unique company in terms of their commitment to third-party independent research. And that's what became my starting point with the involvement that I've had with Isagenix as a third-party independent scientist.
Yeah, it's amazing. And like I said, that's why I'm so fired up to be partnered with this company. I love all the research and the science behind it, the integrity. It's so important. So I'm going to ask you just some frequently asked questions that a lot of us get. One is just basically, what is Isagenix? And I know how I answer that and how I explain it, but I would love for you, Dr. Paul, if you can tell us just in a few sentences, really in all, because it is so different from just saying it's a nutrition company, right? Because it's kind of a little more to it. So how would you describe that to people if they say, well, what is Isagenix?
From the day that I was introduced to it, Gina, I would say that to me, what I think about and what I believe Isagenix represents is a global health and wellness company built on integrity and credibility. And that summarizes it for me right there. I mean, you can't get much higher than that in terms of the status that something holds, that it's worldwide. It's about connecting with people's health and wellness and performance, you could even put in there. And it's got the highest level of credibility and reputation and integrity. So that's what I think about when I think about Isagenix. And I deal with a lot of companies, and those are the main things that rise to the top.
I love that. Love it. So another question for you that we get a lot within our customers and our new customers and people thinking about joining is about when it comes to carbs and sugar. So I know that there's always these trends that come out, right? And people are carb conscious and they're looking at sugar intake. So for you, being with your background and everything, what do you think about the carbs and the sugar that's within our products?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that, because this is where I believe as a scientist, based on objective information, and again, I love using this quote any chance I get, good quality science doesn't care what you believe. So if somebody says, oh, I think it has too much sugar, I think it has too much carbs, I think it has too much this, I don't think it has enough of this. What I get to say as a scientist is that, well, I guess, I value your opinion, but the science doesn't lie. And this is what the truth is. And so in response to that, though, it's a great question, because not only does Isagenix have the science street cred to fall back on and to really launch themselves into the world with, that many other companies don't, but it also has what I call, and I don't think Isagenix perhaps does this as often as they should, because it's a huge advantage, is their nimbleness and flexibility. And I say this in the following way. My research shows that when you adopt the Isagenix lifestyle of their nutritional products, your carbohydrate intake is cut in half. Your sugar intake is cut in half. Your sodium intake is reduced by 2/3. I mean, that's amazing when you think about it. I mean, those three things, carbohydrates total, sugars, and salt are real culprits in terms of influencing our disease risk. Fat, we know, has probably more, good fat has obviously much more pros than cons. And so you need to have that healthy level of fat. But what makes Isagenix so unique is not only those things that I just talked about. You're going to cut your carbohydrate intake in half. You're going to reduce your sugar, by half. You're going to, drastically reduce your sodium. But you can adapt an eating plan of your choice using Isagenix. Now, Isagenix has these foundational products, right? They have the shakes, they have the bars, they have the cleanse to support intermittent fasting. The shakes and bars, of course, support my protein pacing. But you can be very nimble. If there's somebody who wants to do maybe a fat-adapted diet, or if they want to try a ketogenic diet, Isagenix can fit into that if they wanted to, without going to the extreme that some of those do. If they want it to be more paleo in intention, or follow the Mediterranean or Mind diet, they want to follow a plant-based diet, Isagenix has the products and the solutions to support all of those. And I think that, to me, is what makes it so unique and so valuable. But specifically with the carbohydrate and the sugar, rest assured that you have scientific evidence and proof through my research that those two things are drastically reduced along with the sodium.
I love that. I just know I feel amazing with the shakes and the products, and
they're
also, the energy you get from it. If I miss a day without having a shake, which doesn't happen often, I notice it. So, we kind of have to just be our own guinea pigs, right? And see how we feel. So thank you for answering that, because I think that is just so important for everybody to hear. Now, as far as intermittent fasting and the cleansing, before I started, my husband and I were a little skeptical about a cleanse. We're really into fitness. We didn't want to feel like we were starving our body. We didn't really understand. But we did start to look into Isagenix as how different the approach of cleansing is. So if you could shed some light on, a lot of times people say, well, your body cleanses itself. These detoxes are, they're there's no reason for them. And it is true, your body is designed to cleanse itself, but I know that we're overworked and all of that. So how is the Isagenix cleansing system so different from just like another detox or another cleanse? Like there's so many out there. So what sets Isagenix cleansing apart from all those others?
Well, a couple of things, and this is really a cool topic. I loved it because it's right in line with the work that I've done. I would just say this, that your comment that the body cleanses itself, that is true, but only under the condition of you eating an absolutely ideal, perfect diet. So who does that? I don't know. I mean, you and I are both, fitness minded, and there's a lot of people are, and it's challenging, right? I mean, people often ask me, man, how do you do it? And I say, it's hard work. I mean, it's not easy all the time, but I do things to help me out to make it a little bit easier. Isagenix obviously is one of them, but it's a challenge. We are just inundated, bombarded with toxins in our environment through the air that we breathe, through the water that we drink, through the food that we eat, through the soil. We are bombarded with toxins and things that we apply on our body, right? I mean, chemicals in different forms that we have. So we are constantly inundated with toxins that are coming into our body. So does the body have the capacity or the potential to cleanse itself? Yes, but only under conditions of absolutely impeccable, highest quality nourishment you can eat. And that's hard to do. Whole foods. I mean, I don't know who does that. I don't know who lives that way, unless you have a personal chef and, have an organic garden in your backyard. And some people might have that, but let's talk about the 99% of the population that doesn't. So we all need help with that. And I was intrigued by this because in my research, I discovered that we are still accumulating toxins that have been banned from the U.S. Food supply, products, waterways, air, industry. PCB is one of them, right? So PCBs were banned in 1979. So how in the world can we have these in our body? Well, I was interested to find out. So I measured the blood of my 40 participants who I put on the Isagenix weight loss system. And I saw that they had PCBs in their blood. And that was in itself, a little bit alerting and surprising, but not that much, because I knew that there was some level that these were stored in our body. And it also passed, by the way, through, mother to fetus. And so we also have, once an adult has these toxins and a mother that's breastfeeding is going to transfer them into a baby. So that's some of the ways that it gets transferred. But in an adult population, what ends up happening is these toxins get stored in our body fat. Our body fat is very the toxins are very lipophilic, meaning toxins, particularly PCBs, love to find a home in our body where there's fat. And the type of fat that they prefer is the fat that's around our central visceral vital organs. And that's why they're so problematic. That's why they're so often associated with disease, cancer, inflammation, and other conditions that really change people's lives. And so these toxins are there. So what I did was I put these individuals on this Isagenix weight loss system comprised of the shakes and the bars for protein pacing, and then the cleanse for life for the intermittent fasting. What I observed at the end of 12 weeks was that the level of the PCBs that were in the blood went up drastically. Now, some people are surprised when they hear that. They think, oh my gosh, what's going on? That PCBs are getting higher. Well, the reason is because the fat mass was so drastically reduced in their body. And so these toxins had nowhere else to go. And the first step of eliminating toxins from the body is putting them out into circulation, because the home has been destroyed. And in this case, the home is the belly fat. And so the belly fat has been eliminated. So these toxins are like, oh my gosh, my home's been destroyed. I gotta, get out of here. And so what ends up happening is they get into the blood, and after that, they're excreted from the body in various forms. So the first step of removal of toxins is releasing them from the fat into the blood. We showed that, we demonstrated it. It was a phenomenal finding. Wow. And it was so encouraging. So what makes the Isagenix cleanse so powerful in terms of its ability to support this first step of toxin elimination is the adaptogens that are in the Cleanse for Life. And so we have some really powerful adaptogens. We know Eleuthero, we have the ashwagandha. So those are extremely powerful, but we also have some antioxidants that play a critical role in helping support the role that the adaptogens play in the body. So, we call it a Cleanse for Life. Isagenix does. They call it a Cleanse for Life. And it's really an extremely beneficial and now scientifically proven nutritional support for people to help eliminate or at least begin the elimination process of these toxins that have been stored in the body. And again, my research supports this through the work that I've published, and that's what makes it different. It's not something that goes through the body and just pulls everything out and flushes you,
Right.
In terms of eliminating all these nutrients. So I think that's really important. It supports your body's defense systems. It helps support this elimination process and provides you some really valuable nutrients and substances along the way in the form of the adaptogens and the antioxidants. I'm sorry I'm losing my voice. You and I had talked before we got on here, so for the listeners, I don't normally sound this raspy.
Yes, Dr. Paul's been traveling a lot, and I told him I have my throat the same way. So, but we wanted to deliver this to you guys. This is great and useful information. I love what you just said about the cleanse. I always tell people it's a nutritionally supported intermittent fast. And it's so important for our bodies to just rest and recharge. And I know once you're on the system for a while and it's a lifestyle, you kind of feel when you need, like maybe a 24-hour cleanse day is in need. So I get that. That was great. Thank you. So we'll just only have two more questions. One is, and also you guys, we have all of these studies available to you. So Dr. Paul, please don't feel like you need to go into your whole entire study, but with somebody that's coming to Isagenix for weight loss, so their goal is to lose weight, how can you tell them maybe what to expect, maybe to encourage them? Because sometimes, going through a nutrition program like this that is, so it's a deep cleanse can be a little, sometimes it's worse before it gets better, and we want people to stay encouraged because the results are on their way. But what would you say to somebody that has a weight loss goal? And why would they want to choose Isagenix over another plan or diet or something? What would be the reason you would tell them to just give this a shot? And realistically, how long should they really at least try it for? I mean, obviously it's a lifestyle, but is 30 days even really enough time? What would you say about that?
So first, I would say that there's so much misinformation available to us at our fingertips, right? I mean, we're both sitting at a computer right now, and it's so easy for us to be overwhelmed with a multitude of different weight loss strategies and diet plans. And many of those are just not based on science. So first and foremost, what I would say to people is that have a great deal of confidence in knowing and believing and seeing that Isagenix has science, peer-reviewed, third-party, independent scientific research to support its effectiveness in helping people lose weight. So that, to me, is right away the foundation of where anybody should begin. Always look to see where there's science and it's third party and it's peer reviewed. Isagenix has it, and they have lots of it. So that to me is the starting point. And then after that, there's lots of testimonials, of course, with lots of different diet plans, but Isagenix has the testimonials and the transformations to support that which has been proven scientifically. So those two things alone are just incredibly valuable. And that, again, separates them from just about everybody. So that's why I would also choose it. That would be second. Third would be the combination of the protein pacing, which is the dietary strategy that I've created that has been proven now for over a decade to be extremely effective in helping people lose weight. But, all weight loss, Gina, is not the same. And so this is really the third point, is that you can lose weight eating donuts if you want it, right? You can wake up and, you know, have donuts and soda, and as long as you're eating lower number of calories than your body's expending, you might lose weight. In fact, they've done these types of things and they've proven that, yeah, people can lose weight. That does not mean it's healthy. And so what I would just encourage people is that all weight loss is definitely not the same. In fact, there's more weight loss diets and fads that are harmful than there are good for you. And so I would just say that by every measure, the Isagenix weight loss is healthy. And that is hard to say. There's always something that doesn't go in a favorable direction when people lose weight. And we found through our research that every marker of a person's health actually improved when they were on Isagenix. And here's just one small little example. Along with losing body fat and their belly fat, they actually increased the proportion of lean body mass. And that's almost unheard of when you undergo a weight loss, especially one that induces such a profound weight loss. Isagenix, with the combination of the protein pacing and the intermittent fasting, in my research, in 11 weeks, showed an average of 25 pounds of weight loss. Every time I say it, I kind of get shocked, but that's the science, and it doesn't lie. And this was for men and women. So in this group of 40 men and women, on average, they lost 25 pounds. And of that, 90% of it was body fat. That's just incredible. And so some of it was, of course, a little bit of water, but not much at all. I mean, when you look at how much weight they lost, an average of 25 pounds, of that 25 pounds for the men, 23 pounds was fat. And for the women, it was very close, 21, 22. So it just an incredible, that alone, I think, speaks enough to support Isagenix coming in at the top of the heap in terms of weight loss strategies. And then with the intermittent fasting, as we've already talked about, just provides that additional benefit, because when you lose weight that quickly, you're going to have this release of toxins. And so the body could become susceptible to cellular damage. We call it oxidative stress. And what we demonstrated in the study was that cellular stress actually reduced. So that's a hugely favorable weight loss. So that would be probably the final thing I would say. And Isagenix has the support to allow you to succeed, right? I mean, it has everything that you need. It has the guides to help support you. They have obviously team leaders like yourself and your other team members to help people. And we all know the strength of a community of like-minded people who are there to support you, who have been through it maybe themselves, to get you through those sticking points. And so that's hugely valuable. And I would say that 25 pounds was an average. Some people, believe it or not, in those 11 weeks lost up to 65 pounds. So in my study alone. So it can be done, and everything is in place to help support your success. And that's why I would say that Isagenix truly does stand alone at the top of the ladder there in terms of weight loss strategies, because it's so beneficial.
I love that. And it is so important. You know, there is so much weight loss out there, but we need to focus on our health, right? I mean, we want to be around for a long time, and it's really what's going on inside. So even if people are losing weight with something else, like you said, if it's not healthy, why even bother? So I love that. Well, let's wrap it up with just a final question, and it's kind of a little bit into, you know, you and I have that fitness background, and I know you've worked with a lot of athletes, and so sometimes people think Isagenix is only for weight loss. There's a lot of misconception out there, and I know we have this amazing performance line. I know that athletes love to intermittent cleanse as well, and it's healthy too, but I know that you've actually worked with athletes and done a lot of your studies in that way. So if you can just share just a couple quick things before we wrap it up, because we do have a lot of people in this group who are more lean, more athletic, and, you know, maybe don't have a lot of weight to lose, but they want to also see how Isagenix can benefit them, whether it's that they have a sport or that they just really like to work out and stay healthy.
Awesome. This is a great way to end. This
Your
really
favorite, right?
Yeah, this is great. This really brings it all together, because this, again, speaks to the integrity and the mission of Isagenix. They're fully committed to global health and wellness and fitness. Yes, you are exactly right. They are a targeted nutritional company for weight loss primarily. But the good news is their performance products are at the top of the list again in terms of what they have available. And first and foremost, Gina, what they have is something called Informed Sport. And that's a certification program that is recognized globally, around the world. Many people think of NSF, that's the other sport nutrition certification program, but that's very parochial. It's just, primarily in North America. And that's a huge difference. Not only that, but the testing, the rigor of the testing of the quality and the banned substances is vastly different. Informed Sport is at the highest level of testing for banned substances, foreign substances that aren't supposed to be in the product. Isagenix adheres to the highest level of standards. So that would be number one. Number two, yes, you're right. We're both fitness minded. I continue to participate at a high level of athleticism myself in my sport of tennis. And I've worked with professional athletes throughout my entire career. So I'm familiar with that environment. And I use them, and the athletes that I consult with use them. So that's evidence enough that they work, but I go one step further. I want to test them in the laboratory as well. And so I've also conducted third-party, independent, peer-reviewed scientific research on the Isagenix performance products. And there again, they outperform what we currently recommend commercially for sport performance products. And I think that is incredibly important. So their products are top of the line. And I'll just leave you with these last 2 points. I'm currently conducting a study at one of the leading Division I research institutions in the United States. And we're testing 2 of Isagenix top performing nutritional performance products. And the results so far have been absolutely astonishing. So I can just say from a scientific perspective, in very fit, exercise-trained, healthy men and women, the Isagenix sport performance products are performing outstanding in terms of their benefit to performance. So this is really cool. I mean, I love what I do because I get to be on the cutting edge of science related to health and wellness, and the fact that Isagenix is meeting that level of acceptability and performance in weight loss and in athletic performance is just incredible. So yeah, I can say and speak just as confidently that the performance products are just as effective for fitness-minded people as the weight loss products are for people that are interested in losing weight. And then finally, I've given a lot of information, and I hope this is okay, but I know people like to follow some of the things that I post, so I would just encourage them to follow me on Facebook. My personal Facebook of Paul Arciero is maxed out, so my prize protocol on Facebook is available, and I would just tell people that that's a useful resource of information for them. And then my book is coming out on protein pacing and prize in mid-December, and Gina, you're going to be the first one in your team to be made aware of when it's coming out.
Awesome.
So,
Oh, well, thank you so much. I think this was great. And maybe we can do another interview in a few months and, maybe pick a certain topic. But this really answers a lot of the questions that we get. And, I just wanted everybody to feel really comfortable starting out on this journey with Isagenix and the people behind it. And like you said, the third-party testing, the integrity behind the products, and most important, the science, that it works, it's safe, and it's effective. So thank you so much, Dr. Paul, for joining us. And listeners, thank you. I hope you're super excited about your new lifestyle with Isagenix, and we're all here to support you. So thanks. I'm going to wrap it up now.